Arsenal offering Xhaka a new contract is like handing a serial killer a bar of chocolate. That's what it's like to me. Because I don't understand why we're giving this guy a new contract just because we couldn't sell him to Roma. I've said many times that anything above 50p and a bag of Watsits, you just take it and run when it comes to Xhaka. Because that guy shouldn't have been signed in the first place. We made our bed, so now we have to lie in it. We're not going to get a good fee for Xhaka anyway. It doesn't matter whether we hand him a new deal this summer or next summer or any summer, because nobody would be stupid enough to pay more than 20 million for Xhaka. So anything that Roma offered this summer should have been good enough. But of course, when it comes to other players, Arsenal let them go for dead prices. And when it comes to a dead player, we decide to play hardball. Even though it was a different market in 2012, I just want you guys to know that Robin van Persie left Arsenal for 25 million. Just let that sink in, and we're rejecting 17 million for Granit Xhaka. Robin van Persie was our best player. We let him go for 25 million. Even at the time, that was a small fee. And now we're rejecting bids of 17 million for Granit Xhaka. And to make things even worse, we're handing him a new contract. Clapping him onto the pitch when he came on against Chelsea. And the fans are happy with this. The fans are happy with this. After he disrespected the badge by throwing the captain's armband on the floor. I don't care if he was being booed. At the end of the day, that's not how you react. Iwobi has had worse stuff held at him in the stadiums. Jesse Lingard, I just watched a video of Jesse Lingard being mobbed by fans calling him all sorts of stuff. This was about 2 years ago when he was not on form. And he didn't react like how Xhaka did. What makes Xhaka so special? Why can Xhaka react like that and other players can't? He got stripped of the armband, and rightly so. Good job by Unai Emery, and I guarantee you right now, if that happened under Arteta, he wouldn't have been stripped of the armband. The evidence of that is the fact that Arteta still wants to keep him here. After everything. After how many times it's cost us. And people are telling me that he was our best midfielder last season. Well, one, even if he was, it's not difficult. Because we finished 8th. Our midfield was shocking. And Willock scored more in 7 games than our whole midfield did in 2 seasons. Willock scored more last season in 7 games than our entire midfield has in 2 seasons. And when I say midfield, central midfield. So even if Xhaka was our best midfielder last season, which he wasn't, it's not difficult. Elneny was our best midfielder last season, before anyone says anything. Because I don't think Partey was great. But Partey remains our best midfielder. And if you can't see that, then I don't know what to say. Partey is a better footballer than Granit Xhaka. Let's get that straight as well. One season is not what you use to define whether somebody is better than who. When Partey's been doing it year in, year out in big games. For a big team. Competing for big prizes. So, I don't want to hear anything about Granit Xhaka being better than Thomas Partey because of one season. I'm not being biased either. I'm being honest. Thomas Partey is a better footballer than Granit Xhaka. El Neni is a better footballer than Granit Xhaka. And the reason why I say El Neni is better than Xhaka is because El Neni, at least you know what you're going to get from him every week. A standard 5 out of 10 performance. And I'm not saying El Neni is good enough because he should have been gone either. I'm very shocked that Arteta kept him last summer. I thought he was gone. But if we're going to be keeping the likes of Xhaka here, then I'd rather we keep El Neni. But yeah, like I was saying, at least you know what you're going to get from El Neni every single week, which is a standard 5 out of 10 performance. Xhaka can even drop below 0 sometimes. And that's being polite as well. Because this guy can single-handedly cost you a game, and people still rate him so highly. Just because he can do a long pass here and then maybe score a free kick once a season. And then all of a sudden, he's our best midfielder. No, he's not. He's our worst. Comfortably as well. He's comfortably our worst. Because he's not an expert in anything. Neither is he okay at anything. He's terrible in every single aspect of the game. His short passing is one of the worst I've ever seen from a midfielder. I'm not talking about his long passing. His short passing is one of the worst I've ever seen from a midfielder. His short passing his long passing is sideways. And his shots, well, he doesn't even shoot anymore. And that seemed to be the only thing he was not a 0 out of 10. Like, do you get what I mean? He just stopped shooting. And once you take away the one thing that you're at least a 3 out of 10 for, like, you're just going to be classed as an average footballer. Or should be classed as an average footballer. But for some reason, people keep on backing him. Keep on defending him. Saying that he deserves the new contract because of his performance in the Euros. But what did he do in the Euros? What did he do that's so amazing? I've been watching this guy for the whole season. What has he done that's so fantastic? If you're so fantastic, then why did we finish 8th? What did he do in the Euros? Can somebody actually tell me, what did he do in the Euros that was so fantastic? People are telling me he was. Then why did he miss the... what did he even miss? I think he missed the quarterfinals. The game against Spain. Why did he miss that game then? If he was so fantastic? Why was he suspended for that game? What did he actually do? People just like to overrate this guy way too much. Like, what does he actually do on a football pitch? That's so amazing. Even his quote-unquote good games are not even that good. The highest you can give this guy when he has an alright game is 7 out of 10 because he doesn't have any attributes that will elevate him higher than that. And that's not good enough in my opinion. I can only think of about 5 games in his whole Arsenal career where he's been a 7 out of 10. The rest he's been below. Even some games he's been below 0. But of course, people will forget about those ones. Like when he cost us the game against Burnley. What was he doing? Just clear the ball. Instead, you're trying to make a pass and then Chris Wood scores. Absolute nonsense. And people still rate this guy. Arteta still rates this guy. New contract. Shocking footballer. Disrespected the badge. Flirts with other clubs. Toys with the fans. And still gets rated highly to the point where he gets a new contract. Meanwhile, Guendouzi got chucked out for defending his teammate. And Guendouzi is a young player who can improve and actually has passion for the football club. And people hate him, but like Xhaka. People are actually defending Arteta for loaning out Guendouzi and Saliba when they're two young up-and-coming players. When we still got Xhaka and El Neni here. We're spunking 50 million on a centre-back who is worse than a centre-back who we've loaned out to Marseille. Saliba is better than Ben White. And I doubt I'll be proven wrong. Because Ben White is 30 million max. And I don't even... It's only because prices are inflated that I'm even saying 30 million. Because Van Persie left Arsenal for 25 million. So to say Ben White is 30 million, even to me, doesn't even sound right. But in the modern day market, that is probably about what he was worth for, and that's mainly because he got picked in the England squad. 50 million was just a stretch. 50 million, that's more than we spent for Thomas Partey. And Thomas Partey was a proven footballer. What has Ben White to be done to be costing 50 million? And for Arsenal to be spending that when we've got a better centre-back on loan? We're loaning out our best midfielder in Guendouzi, second best, sorry. Well, it might be our third best because that Lokonga guy looks decent. But one of our best midfielders, nonetheless, in Guendouzi. And keeping Xhaka and Elneny here. And we expect to move forward as a club. What's Torreira doing on holiday? Embrace that guy and bring him back in. If we're not trying to find any new centre mid, then we may as well just play with him. Him and Lokonga would be decent. It would be better than Xhaka or Elneny. Bring him back off his holiday. What's he doing on holiday? Are you telling me that he would refuse to come if you promised him game time, which he should be getting with the current crop of midfielders that we have to choose from? Like Granit Xhaka. I don't want to hear anyone tell me that Xhaka's better than Torreira. Nobody can sell that. Nobody can say that to me. Torreira's better than Xhaka. He's clear of Xhaka. Clear. And he probably has deserved more game time than he's got at Arsenal. Because he's better than most of our midfielders. And I don't even rate Torreira that highly, honestly. But he would comfortably walk into this team right now and be one of our best midfielders. But instead, we'd rather just keep accepting mediocrity. And the fans keep accepting mediocrity. There are still people who are backing this process. There are still people who are backing Arteta. Backing Edu. Backing Richard Garlick. Backing Vinay. And backing the whole thing. Yet when I get at the owner, when the whole reason why we're trash is because of the footballing decisions being made by the board and the manager. Yet people are protesting against the owner. How about you protest against the board? That is the main problem. The board and the manager. The board and the manager. Because people are complaining at Kroenke. Well, you can't say that he hasn't given us money to spend if it means we've... And you can't complain at him for not giving us money to spend. How can you complain at him for not giving us money to spend? We just spent 50 million on Ben White. If we're able to waste money like that, then we can't be complaining about money to spend. We also can't be complaining about money to spend when we're choosing to keep everyone at this club. We're not selling anybody. So how are we going to raise funds then? Not everything has to come from Kroenke's pocket. How about we sell players? Look at Chelsea. They sell players who we've never seen play for 25 million plus. And that's how they've been able to afford Lukaku. They only have to add a little bit of money on top. That's how you manage a club. It's not every day the money comes from the owner's pocket. And if the money comes from the owner's pocket, the recruitment has to be good as well. And the recruitment hasn't been good enough. We're not moving for the right players. We're not getting the right players in. And we're just overlooking the players who we should be all over. Like Houssem Aouar. Houssem Aouar should already be here. The price was slashed. We were looking at him when he was 60 million. And now he's 25 million. We're just ignoring him. How does that make any sense? You were looking at a player when we couldn't afford them. And now that we can afford them, we don't want him. Instead, you'd rather spend 50 million on Ben White instead of Bissouma. You could have got Houssem Aouar and someone else with that kind of money. Come on. 50 million on Ben White instead of just bringing Saliba back off on loan. Unbelievable. And people are happy with this. We've not signed anybody who will elevate us up the table. Look at what Aston Villa have done. They sold their best player, but their team still looks decent. Way better than ours. Let's just say that. They're going to do way better than us this season, especially if we keep this dead manager. Crystal Palace look like they're going to outperform us this season too. Man United look like they're going to outperform us. That is not even a question. They could have just signed nobody and still outperformed us this season. Chelsea are going to outperform us this season. City are going to outperform us this season. Liverpool are going to outperform us this season. Spurs and Everton are all going to outperform us this season because we haven't got the right players in and we still got this dead manager at the club. But the fans are not demanding enough of the club for things to change. We're falling for the same rubbish every single year. Are you hypnotized? Every year. It's like you forget what happened the previous year. You get gassed over these dead signings. Watch pre-season vids and get excited for the new season thinking that we're going to flip and change. Nothing's going to change. No doubt we'll beat Brentford. And then people will get happy. And for me, even that's questionable. But we'll probably beat them. We'll probably beat Brentford. But then we'll lose to Chelsea and City. Then what are you going to say? Oh, how are we going to beat the European champions and the Premier League champions? But then what are you going to say when we're losing to teams like Villa and Everton and Leicester every single week? There's barely any easy teams in this league anymore, which is why we're so far down, because we're worse than most of them, or most of them that are respectable anyway. We could be easily in the bottom 10 this year, but nobody seems to care. And you call yourself Arsenal fans. You call yourself Arsenal fans. Chelsea have done what's required. All they needed was a striker this summer, and they've just sorted that out. If you think that they're not going to contend for the title, then I don't know what you're smoking. Man City just need one more signing, and that's Harry Kane, and they're going to get him. Trust me. They're going to find a way, and even if they don't get him, they'll still be up there challenging. Man United will be up there challenging. Liverpool have got a centre-back, which is their main requirement. And even though they haven't, for me, got enough signings in, they're still comfortably going to finish in the top 4. Tottenham have sorted out their centre-back position, which is a problem for them. Centre-back wasn't really a problem for us, yet we spent 50 million on it. Midfield was the problem. And one of the midfielders we've been looking at for the last 3 years is Houssem Aouar. Houssem Aouar, who's now 25 million, and we haven't got him at this club. How? Why? We spent 50 million on a position that we didn't need. We've got Saliba on loan. Just bring him back. Use your brain. 25 million. Just spend 25 million of that 50 million that you spent on Ben White on Houssem Aouar. That's what we should have done. And used the rest of the money, plus the money that we already have sitting there, on other areas that we actually need to spend money on. It's not difficult. If you're going to sign a defender, you sign a right back then. Yes, we got backup left back, good. We got Lokonga in, fine. But we still need more midfielders. We still need another right back. Bellerin is not good enough. Chambers as our first right back choice is not good enough. Chambers is not bad, like as a right back, like if you're having him as a backup. But as our first choice, we cannot have that. We cannot have him as our first choice. I'm so sorry. You want to get back into the top 6 with Chambers as your first choice right back, with Xhaka in midfield, Holding in this as centre back with Ben White, and we still got that clown of a goalkeeper there as well. You just can't rely on. Unbelievable.